Yo, what's up, guys? How's it going? I'm back here with round 15 NAIC VOD review. We got Nick Campbell versus Jimmy Pendarvis. Jimmy Pendarvis playing GaliciaPod, ZoroArc, and we got Nick playing BuzzRoc. Um, Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find Nick's list, so I don't know his exact counts of stuff. He does play the Reggie Rock. I think he plays 2 BuzzGX as well. So there's like the big things that are definitely a little bit different from what is considered like the standard list right now. We see Jimmy's prizes coming down. Big thing here, I guess, is the choice band. Everything else he is like not too worried about in the prizes there. But even then, the choice band isn't usually too relevant in this matchup. So this matchup generally it comes down to a war between Wimpods and Lycanrocs. If you can run one person out of the other one, then you can usually win the game if you can set up your other one. So here we see the immediate played on Brooklet Hill, but he's gonna almost for sure Ultra Ball anyways as Nick. So I think I would have liked to have seen him. I'm actually curious. He had the B string. What else did he have in his hand? I would have liked to have seen him Ultra Ball first, save the Brooklet Hill because you want to set up as much as possible on your first turn. So play the Cynthia and then Brooklet Hill after. Because this increases your odds of just drawing into the Remoraid, and then you can Brooklet Hill for like a baby Buzzle or something. So he keeps the Lele in the deck. Yeah, I like that. And then play Cynthia. So I would like to have seen him Ultra Ball for Rockruff. Rockruff's like super important to get out early, so you can chase the Wimpods. And then I would have liked to have seen him put the Brooklet Hill in play, but don't use it until after you play the Cynthia and see what you draw. Cut from Jimmy. We do see he gets the Diancie and the Baby Buzzwole, so both those will probably be coming down. Whiffs the first Max Elixir, but he has a second one to use. If he does hit it, it probably will end up on the Rockruff here. And unfortunately, he whiffs the energy attachment for turn. That's like a big... that's very unfortunate from Nick here. Jimmy draws for turn, and we will see the Bridget. I think we're going to see Zero Wimpada. Probably, he ideally wants to like to retreat to a Mewtwo here or something for the turn to kind of... That's like his best thing to send up here. But he definitely needs a Wimpod to answer the potential Lycanroc. So we see the Wimpod Zero here from Jimmy. We saw him 2 times, right? Yeah. So yeah, we see the Zero Wimpod here from Jimmy and the pass. Nothing else, unfortunately. Bench the Diancie, and we see him Sycamore away the basic energy just because he really wants a special energy here from Nick. And actually, hold on. What was Nick's hand? I think he had a extra Brooklet Hill in it, right? Yeah, he was fine. I was gonna say he definitely should have benched the Diancie last turn. But yeah, here we go. Jet Punch, knock out that 30 Wimpod. Now Jimmy's in a really rough spot. Because his hand doesn't look great. He gets the whole squad out, but he might be actually having to end up attacking with Zoroark here, unless he finds like the float stone and everything. We're gonna see him go with N, ending Nicholas to 6 or 5. Himself up to 6. Excuse me. Definitely looking for a way to... I don't even know if you want to one-shot this well. Ideally, actually, the ideal draw here is like counter catcher DCE and knock out the Rockruff. But we'll see what he gets. There's the DCE. Trades away that. Trades away the Cynthia. And he Lele's... I'm not sure what he's going to grab here. Gets Bridget. I don't know about that. I'm not sure why he grabbed Bridget there. Hold on. So he had the Lele in hand before he traded the Cynthia. And then he trades the Bridget. I don't understand that play from Jimmy at all. I don't know what he was going for there. So if you're going to Lele for the Bridget to thin your deck by 1 card, put the Lele in play to maybe get the extra damage so this can 2-shot the Buzzle, then you would Lele before the first trade, not the after the first trade. He had the Lele in hand before he sent the Ed. But you should just trade twice, and then after that, if you whiff like a different basic Pokemon, because you definitely like rather have a Wimpod or something else down here. A Mewtwo. He has a Mew. I think he had the Mew EX in hand as well. We'll have to take a look at that again. We're going to see an Ultra Ball. Ideally, get another Wimpod, but his last Wimpod is prized. So I don't know what he's Ultra Balling here for. I think he probably thought it wasn't prized and he was going to try and get it. But at this point, now that you've benched the Lele, it allows the Lycanroc to actually KO the GaliciaPod, depending on if Nick can draw the cards he needs. So he opens himself up to that. I can't see the thing. I'm also not a big fan of this Field Blower on the Brooklet Hill. I would much rather save it to get rid of Floatstone. Like, Nick has everything he wants and needs set up in play. There's really nothing else he wants in here, so there's no really reason to Field Blower away that Brooklet Hill, I don't think. And then we're going to see the attack with the ZoroArk. So I definitely would have liked to have seen him hold this Lele. Do the second trade without the Lele, and then maybe redecide if you need the extra basic Pokemon. I would have probably just hit this for 60. Because benching this extra Pokemon makes it, like, it makes it so that Lycanroc can actually KO the Gliscopod. If Lycanroc KOs Gliscopod next turn, Nick probably just wins the game. So this play, I'm not a big fan of this play here from Jimmy. This benching of the Lele and all that. Yeah, definitely not a big fan of that. I don't know what he was thinking there with that. Ultra Ball from Nick. Getting the Octillery out now for himself. Don't know what the rest of his hand looks like. Take a look in just a second. Maybe would like to see him keep the other Ultra Ball. I don't know if his hand has much draw past that. There's the Brooklet. Yeah, I would like to have seen him keep the other Ultra Ball because he kept Lele in deck for a reason. So why don't you, like, if you whiff here on this Octillery draw, a supporter, just get rid of one of the B-Strings. And then if you whiff, or get rid of the Brooklet and then keep B-String, Ultra Ball. No, play that. Get rid of a B-String on the Ultra Ball. Keep an Ultra Ball. So that way if you whiff this swing, then, wait a second. 150, he actually has Knockout. No, he doesn't have Ultra Ball in hand. He would have had Knockout on the Gliscopod. Yeah, Nick would have actually just won this game. If he had kept the other Ultra Ball in hand, he could have Brooklet Hill for Regirock, attach Basic Energy, Float Stone, Ultra Ball, Lycanroc, Knockout, Gliscopod. And I think he just wins the game from there. Yeah, all he needs to do is keep one of those Ultra Balls in hand as an out. There's no reason to ever get rid of both Ultra Balls there. Just get rid of one of those stupid B-Strings. They're not that... If you never get cleanly to Jimmy's turn 3, turn 4, then you're not going to be able to utilize them anyways. So Ultra Ball away one of the B-Strings. You definitely want to keep the second Ultra Ball in hand because if you're only Octillery for like 3 cards. So if you whiff a draw supporter, you're going to want to Ultra Ball for Lele for a draw supporter at the very least. But what he drew allows him to open up the play of knock out your Gliscopod. And then because Jimmy didn't get down another Wimpod, and because he benches Lele, and I really don't like this Lele bench here from Jimmy, Nick would probably just win the game on that play. Because all of a sudden you can't ignore this, which means Octillery stays in play, which means you're drawing cards still on the next turn. Oh my gosh. It's a super poor couple turns there from both players. Jimmy with the Lele bench, opening it up for Nick to knock out the Gliscopod. And then Nick, if you had just kept the Ultra, like there's no reason to ever get rid of both the Ultra Ball with the Ultra Ball there. Because it opens up plays. Like you want to find Lycanroc. If you whiff a supporter and you don't have the option to do the Lycanroc play, which he ends up having the option to do the Lycanroc play, you want to be able to use the Ultra Ball to find a Lele to draw a supporter so you can play the game still. Oh man, so a couple of horrible turns from both players, I think. Just real bad. First trade from Jimmy, second trade from Jimmy. And I think just based on how that turn went, and on top of all that, he still has an energy in hand, and he chooses just not to attach it to this baby Buzzwole for no reason at all. He could have just attached energy to the baby Buzzwole. Or even the active. I actually think the active, attaching the active is a little bit better because it deters Jimmy from KOing the Octillery or the Rockruff, having like the Buzzwole GX ready to go. So I think he should have attached energy to the active Buzzwole, making it harder, trying to deter Jimmy from KOing one of these. And maybe even Jimmy has to go into KOing this if he does that. I don't think so, though. You still probably go after one of these like ready to get knocked out by a Mewtwo if he sets it up really heavily. So I think Nick also, he just didn't attach energy for turn for no reason. He should have attached that to his active. You see the Parallel City from Jimmy. Oh yeah, baby Buzzwole. Brook goes away. I think Jimmy has already traded twice. Oh man. All right. Trying to get back into this. Yeah. All right. Bench the Zorua. So it's definitely possible. And we see an N. Definitely don't want to end there as Jimmy, but if he has nothing else, he kind of doesn't have a choice, actually. I think we're still looking for, now after he ends him, like after what he did, Jimmy should know Nick had a pretty bad hand. He like didn't even attach energy return, which he could have still. We definitely want to see Jimmy, ideally Jimmy wanted to kill the Octillery. Now that he's end him, he's giving him cards again. You definitely want to go KO the Rockruff as Jimmy. And it looks like he got the out. He has the DC and the Ultra Ball, so he should be able to KO the active this here. Excuse me. So he gets the Mewtwo. He doesn't really have an option here. He has to get the Mewtwo here. to be able to do 120 damage, the retreat to the ZoroPod, and then knockout. 2 prizes. Looking for a Lycanroc here from Nick. His hand is not so good. We actually have to see a Regirock come down, which is not great. There we go. I maybe would have actually on Nick's turn. I think I would have liked to have seen him ditch the Diancie and keep the baby Buzzwole going into Beast Ring turn, because you just want to have a beast in play going into Beast Ring turn. Yeah, I think at that point you just ditch the Diancie. On Nick's turn, when he got Parallel City'd, he chose to ditch the baby Buzzwole instead of the Diancie. I actually you're going into Beast Ring turn. Actually, I completely forgot that Jimmy was drawing 2 prizes. Going into Beast Ring turn, you just want a beast in play. You're losing Brooklet Hill, so you can't find a beast. Just ditch the Diancie. Get a baby Buzzwole in play. I think it's definitely the way to go. Strong to active Abyssal hand for 2. Lele but can't play because of the Parallel City, and he has 2 Beast Rings in hand with no beasts. We do see the surprise attack with the Rockruff though. Ton of damage. It actually puts it in Jet Punch range on Jimmy's side. 200 damage. He was actually very close to getting that knockout. We should see Jimmy taking the knockout here on the Rockruff this turn as he attaches the Grass Energy to the Golisopod. Yeah, he's got a lot of energy and Beast Rings, we know. Yeah, so I think Nick definitely should have ditched the Diancie there, kept the baby Buzzwole so he could utilize Beast Ring. And we see the knockout, floats into Diancie, Wonder Tag, and we see Scoop from Nick. It's pretty reasonable to scoop here as Nick. I think he's out of Brooklet Hills, so he doesn't have a way to bounce this or set up an attacker. If I was Nick, I would have tried to attack with Regirock once into this. And if you get that attack off, and Jimmy isn't able to move Golisopod or knock out your Regirock, then I would stay in the game. So I would as Nick, I would have seen if he could get the attack off with the Regirock for a turn. So going over game 1 just a second, I think 2 massive misplays from the players. Jimmy benching the Lele, giving Nick the option to get the KO with the Lycanroc, and then Nick Ultra Balling away the Ultra Ball. Oh, that one hurt. Like when you're only Abyssal handing for 3 without even having a draw support in your hand initially, and the other card's not even being that good. Like Beast Ring is only good if you can cleanly get to if you get to turn 3 and turn 4 comfortably. If you get to it really poorly, the Beast Rings aren't as good. So I think that was super poor from Nick to Ultra Ball away the Ultra Ball. If he keeps that Ultra Ball in hand, at the very least he could Ultra Ball for Lele. At the very best, he Ultra Balls for Lycanroc, which he could have done and actually just knocked out Jimmy's Golisopod. Brooklet Hill for the Regirock would have been enough damage. What was it? There was 60 on it. No. 30 on it, 150, 180, 200, 210. Yeah, so we would have had the GX knockout on the Lele, unless I just did the math wrong again. So Jimmy should never let Nick put himself in that position by benching the Lele. But I think Jimmy thought his other Wimpod was in the deck, so that would have changed things a little bit. Really weird Lele play in general by Jimmy to put it down when he did instead of trading first. You much would have rather have like a Mewtwo down there or something. So I think 2 pretty massive mistakes from both players. And it ends up with Jimmy taking game 1. All right, we're getting into game 2. The only thing really relevant on either prize, I think, was just Jimmy's Mewtwo. You ideally want to like bridge it for that a lot of the times. The Mewtwo opening here from Jimmy is not great. Or not the Mewtwo, the Mew. So we see an Ultra Ball here, I think, immediately from Nick. I would like to see the Rockruff. Like in this matchup, if you can set up Lycanroc, set up the Rockruff, get into the Lycanroc. He even has the Beast Energy immediately, which means all he needs is Regirock. He doesn't even need the Diancie. And if you get the Lycanroc, you can just go chase Wimpod. Like you just want to chase. If you can chase knockout Wimpod, that's great. You just like Remoraid doesn't. You don't need Remoraid this early. Just get a Rockruff here as Nick. I don't know what he's thinking with that. All you want to do is KO Wimpods. And it makes, if Jimmy opened Mew, that means he has no other basic Pokemon in hand, which makes his first Bridget kind of awkward. It means you have to kind of get 2 Zoruas because that's your draw engine, but that means you only get 1 Wimpod, which means if Nick just got Rockruff there, he could just take out this Wimpod next turn pretty reasonably. It's very reasonable for him to get that knock, especially having the Beast Energy. Jimmy would have to have an Enhanced Hammer response, but that means he needs Regirock or Diancie. He doesn't just need. He has the 2 options to find both of them. So I would have definitely liked to have seen Nick get a Rockruff here instead and just take out this Wimpod. I don't know what he's thinking by getting the Remoraid this early. I don't like this Parallel City placement dropped from Jimmy. Um, I only like I think the best way to play the Perilous Cities in this matchup is to play them after they play down their first Brooklet Hill, or if you're gonna Sycamore one away or something like that. Then we did see Nick top deck Lycanroc. So if he had just gone Rockruff here, then he goes Lycanroc, bring up the Wimpod, then he has a Cynthia, or he played N into Regirock, Diancie, Brooklet Hill, Ultra Ball. There's so many outs. I'm not a big fan of the Remoraid over the. Definitely should have gone with what's it called there. Rockruff instead of a Remoraid there for sure. I think. He does get the KO on the Mew, but he definitely has to get kind of lucky here to get this. He needed like less to do the Wimpod knockout. And I would have still rather knocked out the Wimpod if you told me I could knock out my opponent's only Wimpod in play or knock out their active Mew EX before the Mew EX does anything. I would always say KO the active Wimpod or the only Wimpod. I'll deal with the Mew later. I don't care about the Mew. So I really still once again I don't like the way Nick played out that. So I think we're gonna probably have to see a GX attack here from Jimmy, and that's what he's setting up by setting up the Wimpod. I think he has Gliscopod in hand. Yep. 2 Zoroarks out. Zaru in hand, so we should see that bench. Then we got Lele. Probably going to grab N here. Yep, we're going to see the N. Flowstone go to Gliscopod. If he's planning to GX here, like, you're just going to play like you're going to hit the DC. You want to put the Flowstone on the Lele, actually. Like, because you're going to GX to the Lele pretty much every time. I don't know why he Floatstones his Gliscopod here. That doesn't really make any sense. If you play like you're going to whiff the DC, you're going to lose the game anyways. Like, you're playing like you're going to hit the DC. That means you're GXing to the Lele. Put the Flowstone on the Lele so you can move it for sure. Like, I'm not sure what Jimmy was thinking with this play at all. Yep, there's the DC. I don't know why he didn't put the Flowstone on the Lele there. Should see trade away the Ultra Ball, second trade. Another Zork for next turn. That's very nice. DC attach. Yeah, the Flowstone on the active is super weird. It should definitely just be on the Lele. Like you're like, here he goes, GX Lele. Yep. And now there's no Floatstone on the Lele, so it could get trapped. Like, why? I don't know why you would put the Floatstone on your Gliscopod instead of Lele. So not a great hand from Nick. We see double Guzma energy, max elixir, so he has some stuff. But nothing really going great here. Looks like it might just be a KO on the Zorua. We see Brooklet Hill. Probably gonna grab a Baby Buzz. Whoa! What is he's getting a Regirock? I don't know. Maybe there's some math setup he's going for if he's not gonna just go KO the Zorua, but he needs to draw out of this dead draw. So KOing the Zorua is definitely the way to go. I don't know why he would put Regirock in play here. And we see the Guzma on the Zorua. Yeah, this makes no sense on Nick's side to put Regirock in play. Now this allows Jimmy to play around Sledgehammer. Jimmy next turn is probably just going to go KO this Regirock. And then Nick on the dead draw is going to not be able to use Sledgehammer. Which is huge. Not being able to use Sledgehammer is especially when you're dead drawing. And Jimmy should know by how Nick just played out this last turn that he probably is dead drawing. Jimmy draw. Probably trade away a Zork for the first one. I can't really see his hand. I saw his hand before. I don't know what he's going to get rid of with the second one. Maybe the other Zork. Yep. And then I think he has Guzma in hand, so we should just see the Guzma on the Regirock. Start setting up Lele. I like that. Get Lele ready to go. Guzma. Whoa! And he's bringing it. Oh, okay. So I don't know why he's doing this. If Nick had Octillery last turn, he would have played it and put it in play. He got 1 prize off his prizes. Like that, don't factor that in too much. Take out the Regirock here. Now you're just giving Nick, and Nick has the Guzma in hand, so Nick will actually be able to do something next turn for sure. He'll be able to Sledgehammer, knock out a Zork. Just take away his Sledgehammer, force him to use Beast to find Beast Ring to get that much more. Take out the Regirock here as Jimmy for sure. I don't know why he's not taking out this Regirock. This makes no sense to me to go over this instead of the Regirock. Take away his Sledgehammer turn. It's super nice to take away their super efficient turn, their super efficient Sledgehammer turn if you can. Yeah, I really do not like this play from Jimmy at all. He should definitely have armor press this Regirock, and then maybe next turn go KO the Remoraid. But I feel like this is actually just super poor from Jimmy. We're gonna see the Brooklet Hill for Baby Buzzwole on Nick's side. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, now he's filling up his. So this is actually a mistake here on Nick's side. He's like filling up. He didn't need to get this Baby Buzzwole. He's like filling up his bench, and he has Lele still in deck. So if he top decks, if Jimmy doesn't knock anything out and he top decks Ultra Ball, then he won't be able to Ultra Ball. So you're gonna see the knockout on the Zork because Jimmy gave him Sledgehammer for some reason. I still don't know why Jimmy gave him Sledgehammer. Should have just taken out the Regirock. I don't know. It's a super weird play from Jimmy to have made. It doesn't really make any sense at all. We might see Jimmy start off at an N here, put Nick down to one card that makes sense to me. Oh, he's gonna start with a trade. Actually, he has Delinquent in hand. He get Delinquent. I think Nick only has 3-card hand. Yeah. Yep, there it is, the Delinquent. And Jimmy might have to Armor Press here. Another attached to Lele. Yeah, I think it's going to be an Armor Press. Armor Press. He does have the Max Potion Rainbow to kind of follow up and knock out this Baby Buzzle. So we see Draw attached from Nick. But his bench is full, so if he ever top decks Lele, he can't use it. Well, no, I guess Jimmy taking a prize this turn. So now he'll be able to use it on the next turn. But he should have left it open for a turn. Because it's possible Jimmy whiffs on the next turn, the knockout, and then you want a response. Oh, you want to be able to use Lele if you can. So we should see the Max Potion attached Rainbow. Probably Cynthia from Jimmy. He's looking it up. He's eyeing it up. Looking it up. He's eyeing it up. Rainbow coming down. Thinking about it. There we go. And then should see bench Mewtwo, I guess. There's no reason not to. Everything gets knocked out on his board. If anything's going to get knocked out, I think. Yeah, Mewtwo's coming down. Cynthia. Could have Ultra Balled there, I think. Yeah, I think he could have actually cleaned out his hand there a little bit. He has an Ultra Ball. He could have got rid of Golisopod and something else. Yeah, that was another big mistake, actually, by Jimmy. Getting 3 cards out of your deck that are useless right there is huge. He definitely could have Ultra Balled there, got rid of Golisopod and something else. I don't know what he was thinking with that one. That's a pretty big mistake, actually, again, by Jimmy. And now he has the Ultra Ball once again. And now he's going to play the Ultra Ball and thin the deck. Yeah, he definitely should have Ultra Ball and thin the deck on the last hand. I don't know what he was thinking there. I think he got Lele there. The option for some draw supporters on the next turn. And there's the knockout with the first impression for 30 from Jimmy. Nick sends up the AzulGG, hoping to top deck, gets Rockruff. Yeah, now if he top decks a Sycamore, he can get into the Gust effect to plus something else if he needs to. 70-30 on the Golisopod, 70 on the Golisopod, 30 on the Lele. Wonder Tags, and we see probably go for the Sycamore. Yeah, he can actually get the knockout here with a 3rd DCE and a Choice Band. So that's what he's definitely looking for. Looking for the knockout on the AzulGG with the 3rd DCE Choice Band. So that's a big Lele. Sycamore, yep, get rid of all that. Yep, there's the DC. See the trade. Once again, the Golisopod shouldn't even be in the deck, though. He should have Ultra Balled that away 2 turns ago now. Should have played the Ultra Ball, got rid of Golisopod, something else. Probably the N when he had that in his hand before. Maybe keep the N, but you have double puzzle less in deck, so you can always get an N off the double puzzle. So still pretty poor play here from Jimmy. Double puzzle, probably just for 2 Guzma, because that's all you need to close out the game. His Grass in hand, I think. No, maybe Grass Guzma then. I think Max Potion. I don't think his Golisopod's in danger of being knocked out. Yeah, I think if the Golisopod's going to get knocked out, anything else could get knocked out too. So I don't know why he's grabbing Max Potion. If Nicholas top decks, Sycamore goes Floatstone, attach Max Elixir, that can KO anything. The Max Potion doesn't make any sense. It actually doesn't protect him from anything here. Yeah, I don't know why he's grabbing Max Potion here. That doesn't actually save him from anything. The Guzma's definitely right because he could send up something like, well, now Jimmy's just out of. There's another Ultra Ball. Now Jimmy's just actually out of Grass Energy, so I think he should take in maybe Grass Energy Sycamore, Grass Energy Guzma. Give himself another option to no, because if he doesn't Max Potion, he doesn't need the Grass Energy. Guzma something else. Double. You could have maybe got. I don't know if he has a puzzle left. I think this Parallel City is fine. He actually could have Parallel City'd himself. Got rid of Zoroark. That limits Nick's options for a knockout. Yeah, I think Jimmy should have Parallel City'd himself here and got rid of his own Zoroark, because that really limits Nick's options to take a knockout next turn. Yeah, I think that's what we should have seen from Jimmy, actually. Is Parallel City himself. That's the only way Nick could win the game. But if Nick top decks N, it gets really awkward, actually. Or it could get awkward. No, not really, because he would draw top deck N and N himself to 1. There's nothing you could really draw that would put Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy should have. The only way Jimmy loses here is if Nick top decks Sycamore into Floatstone into Max Elixir attach Lycanroc Chaos. So Jimmy should just paralleled himself and ditches on ZoroArk. That's what he's done for sure. He has the Guzma in hand, so he knows he's gonna win. Shouldn't have taken the max potion. Guzma's something else off the double puzzle. Guzma if there's two Guzmas, because if he gets N, then he just all he needs is Guzma. Parallel to yourself, ditch it on ZoroArk. So once again, a pretty sloppy play at the end there from Jimmy. I don't know. These games were pretty bad. I think overall some like pretty major mistakes actually, on both parts. In the game 2 specifically, what did we see in the game 2? Well, the max potion at the end was poor. Not going so putting Regirock in play was terrible, and then not killing Regirock was terrible. So back to back, like huge game changing mistakes on both sides. Putting Regirock in play, giving Jimmy the option to punish, moving Sledgehammer from play, drawing 2 prizes, and not really putting himself in any trouble at all. The Gliscopod just chilling in the active off an armor press, and then Jimmy just not taking the knockout and going after Remoraid, especially after how Nick played out his last turn, where he pretty much suggested his hand had nothing going on. He's only getting 1 prize off the prize, and he's going to top deck no matter what. So the top deck is still random, and it's always a card. I don't know. This was also the first game was also I think played pretty poorly. I forget where which in this game too, the floatstone attachment. I really did not like that floatstone attachment. Later on, he could have blowered it off the Lele anyways when he wanted to put the choice band over here. Was it this Lele or was it the other Lele? Whatever Lele it was, it doesn't matter. Floatstone should have been on the Lele the whole time, I think. Yeah, I think that was played super poorly on this game. I think was played worse than the first game. I mean, those 2 huge mistakes were just huge. I don't know about those. Both games weren't played great by both players. This game was played worse by both players, though. I feel like it went from usually from game 1 to game 2 or game 3, it gets better. I feel like it actually got worse from game 1 to game 2. I kind of went over everything. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, give it a like. If you like the content, subscribe. Leave your constructive criticism and feedback in the comment section down below. Check out my Twitch. Follow me on Twitter if you want. Links for that in the description below. Have a good day, guys. I'll be back with top 8 soon. Peace.